Hey everybody, it's Luke here on the next episode of Hand Highlights on my amateur poker journey from 100 to 10,000. Just an update. So I recently took down a huge tournament, $15 buy-in, 1,600 players for $3,000. So now my account's up to 3,600, and unfortunately I don't have the hand highlights from that one. Today we're going to show a 600 player tournament that was a 440 buy-in for where I won it for $600. But it's been a tough journey. Um, my stats started to tank, and I didn't feel like I had changed my strategy markedly. And what I ended up coming to believe, and now I firmly believe, is that the robots had learned my strategy very well. I know that sounds like a conspiracy theorist, but the thing is, it's really easy now with the poker tracker software that they have to get these huge databases of hands and to have your strategy against an individual player be completely tailored to their stats and to find their leaks. That's just completely within the realm of what technology exists today and what tech they're building and what tech they're using. I mean, I'm actually surprised the game of online poker is still alive because of the bots. And recently I posted a video showing bots on 888 Poker. I was sitting out and they were just scooping my blinds, scooping. Like there was like a table of like 7 players, and they were bet, full, bet, full, bet. And my account was just going down. Like there were no humans in that table except me. So anyway, um, my stats started to tank, and I thought, well, this is probably the end of me using 888 Poker. But I decided, okay, let's just take one try at completely streamlining my strategy as I should. Because I've learned a lot about like standardizing your play and playing based on ranges and everything. And with game theory optimal play, it doesn't even matter if they know what ranges you bet, what ranges you fold. They still can't play any different against you. They have to play the same. And so you're optimizing how you play. And it's about kind of like playing, it's about mixing in bluffs with made hands and draws and stuff with the same lines. Anyway, so I decided to, and I'll share more as we go in. But so I completely standardized my play. I assumed that the bots were able to see all my leaks because the way I was playing before, and it was working, was like I was kind of getting greedy, trying to exploit the players by like, let's say, betting bigger when I've got the hand or whatever. Like that may seem obvious. Oh, bet bigger when you got the hand, but the problem is if you always bet bigger when you got the hand, then that's a tell, and then you're just revealing that you've got the hand, and that will always fold to you. So that doesn't work. So anyway, I started to just bet the same. So one of the things I'm doing is like, if I'm raising, then the flop comes, I'll do a 30% pot. Then the turn comes, I'll do a 50% pot. Then the river comes, I'll either do a 70% pot or like an all-in jam or like just something based on how many chips the guy has and whatever I have on the river. And I've been doing that. Sometimes I will be bluffing. Almost 80% of the time I'm continuation betting for sure, whether I've got the hand or not. And I started to just do that no matter what. Even if I'm flopping the nuts, it's the 30%, And so tried to really standardize my play like that. And my stats started to increase again. So I'm encouraged because I think that this task of trying to get to 10,000 still has viability, and we'll see how it goes. So I'll share this recent win and some of the little theories and stuff and learnings that I'm developing along the way. So first hand, king, queen suited. This guy re-raises me. I don't think I should have called here, actually, in retrospect. You really need, when you've got very little chips, you really need the big cards, the blocker cards. You really, I mean, yeah, it's suited, it's pretty, but oh, I ended up busting there as well. I think I rebought twice in this tournament, so Yeah, I think that was a mistake. Okay, 8.79 big blinds. I jammed. Obviously, I'm desperate there. I think that was my second rebuy, second best. Okay, and then this barrel actually wins the tournament. So Jack 10 suited. Yeah, this was an interesting situation because like I've got 12 big blinds, right? And I think that when you start to get to like 13, 14, 15 big blinds and they're jamming on you pre-flop, they do have good to premium hands. But like 12 big blinds is starting to get into that gray area where people are often putting their hands in the cookie jar. And I said, you know what? I've got an ace. That ace can usually, like, maybe somebody again likes their queen king suited. Like I made that mistake just before. So I'd go with an ace X, no matter what the X is, against queen king suited here, obviously, because the percentage is you're in the lead. And one thing too is like, because I've been learning about this about the theory, right? As long as in the long run you're chipping up, like you're making money more than 50% of the time, um, or like you're making any money in the long run based on that decision. Like if you ran this decision 1,000 times, would you be earning any money at all? Then you want to do it. A lot of people might think, oh, I want to have low variability, low risk in my game. Well, that's not really how it works. You really just have to make decisions that long run are going to chip you up. So that's an interesting and important concept, I think, with poker is, and to me, not intuitive that you want to. Oh, look, I hit two pair too. So, all right. Next, I have jacks. Loving it. I actually put 3 instead of 2 here. This is a bit of a tell. I normally min raise when I've got 20 big blinds, but I don't know if they're going to pick that up yet. Ace queen. I'm happy to have it all in with jacks against ace queen because I think it's 54% or something like that. And again, you're chipping up most of the time. You're chipping up in the long run. So king jack, he jams on me. Yeah, I think people often do this from the big blind, at least in these low stakes games. They try to bluff you off, even if you're raising from early position. I don't know why they do it. But he's putting me all in for 18 more big blinds. But one of the things recently that I've been noticing is the power of pocket pairs. So I ran this calculation the other day about how often you are to get delta pocket pair versus a split cards hand. Like split cards obviously being like not a pocket pair. And I think it's like 6 to 1. Like you're 6 times more likely to have a split hand than a pair hand. And so because of that, and because any pocket pair is actually ahead of any split hand, even if it's ace king, if you just go all in pre-flop, then pairs are very powerful. Now, the only problem is if someone has a higher pair, then you're kind of dominated. But again, the pairs are so rare. So anyway, I have the sevens. I think often these people are trying to bluff you off with pretty loose, and I'm starting to realize the power of pocket pairs. So I decided to call, and I was ahead. So I'm happy I made that decision. Oh, I hit quads, so that's always good. All right, here I've got pocket rockets, min raise. Oh, I've got the flush draw, the nut flush draw on the top pair, or the over pair. So I do my third pot bet. I'm still being consistent. I'm not changing my pattern. I'm going to do a 50% bet here too. He calls. And then the worst card comes, the jack. Because 9, 10, jack, any queen now has me beat. And this is the thing. I'm just starting to realize you can't fall in love with good hands that didn't pan out that great. Yes, I still have a higher than the top pair, but it's just not good enough. I'm checking here. He jams. Like, what's he going to jam with, He could have a 9. That's got me beat, So there's 2 9s out there. There's 4 queens. That's 6 cards. And he's jamming, like he's not going to be jamming with anything worse than a 9 or a queen. So I just unfortunately laid it down. But I think recent times past, I wouldn't have been able to find that fold because I'm just too in love with the pocket aces that I can't give it up. So that's about discipline. Oh, I got lucky here. I mean, I was desperate, right? Getting low. You got to get a little bit lucky in any tournament to win it. I think you got to find a little bit of luck. Ace king min raise as usual. Hit the ace third pot. He re-raises and I jam. I mean, I don't want the flush to come. There's some lower straights coming. I really don't need to see those come. I'd rather win a little than lose a lot. That's another one of my things that I've been recently focused on, is take the money when you got it good. And I think I'm winning here with the ace. And yeah. All right. And when I re-raised, he folds. So, okay, I've got ace jack suited here. He called and I raised, obviously. I hate these fully flushed board flops. There's no way to bluff at this. Like, when you don't have the flush card, I just start to leave it alone, like kryptonite. And then finally I hit a jack on the river. Now I feel comfortable because he didn't like it on the flop or the turn. And now he's half pot betting. I don't think if I raise, he'll call with anything worse than me. So I'm just going to call this and take my money. All right, king 10. Min raise as usual. So he's got the open-ended here. I do the third pot bet as usual. I get 2 callers. Now I've got top 2 pair. Then he bets the third pot. So he leads out now, meaning I was the one betting. But then he kind of takes the bet from me. And that's interesting, right? It's notable. I think with these like lower caliber, lower buy-in games, you can't pay too much attention to that. Like, I think in a professional setting, it'd probably be considered a strong move. But he bets, and I decide to just call here. And why did I just call? Yeah, I think I was feeling a little bit greedy with the top 2 pair. Obviously, there could be a flush coming. There could be some straights, but I'm not too worried about them. And yeah, obviously he's got the straight draw. So I could have strongly considered going all in here. Luckily, I hit the king. I might go all in here in another, if I had a chance to do this one again. Luckily, I ended up knocking him out. Oh, here I bet 4. Yeah, this is kind of a tell. I decided to bet 4 because these guys have so many chips. 85 bigs and 182 bigs. But I really shouldn't. I've got no business betting 4 big blinds when I'm always only betting 2. I really shouldn't bet 4 when I've got a nice hand like this. But fortunately, they didn't see. I bet you if it was bots, I bet you these are humans. If it was bots, they would have known. Now I have to check because I'm just not hitting. I tried to bluff the flop, and then he bets the turn. It's like, man, I gotta let this go. So I'm just showing all the hands where I won or lost the most. So I just rank ordered the hands based on winning or losing the most big blinds. So, all right, ace 8, min raise, hit the ace. Now I checked it. I think I'm kind of playing a trap. I don't consider it a trap when you've got only one pair, but in this case, I've got so few chips. I'm really desperate to try to get all my money in with that ace. So, yep, I'm check calling, and I'm like, am I going to check the river? Yeah. So I'm looking to have him bluff it off. Yeah. So, and that's one thing about inducing bluffs on the river. I've been doing this a lot more. Trying to induce more bluffs on the river, get more money out of people when you don't deserve it. And that happened here. Obviously, sometimes by checking the river, you are obviously sometimes like exposing yourself to more risk because like I'm having trouble putting my train of thought on this. Oh no, you're possibly not gonna win as much money with your good hands when you check the river, but sometimes you'll know when they really don't have a hand. The only thing you're going to get out of them is them bluffing you. And sometimes it's hard to call. When you induce a bluff, oh, now I remember. When you induce a bluff on the river, sometimes it's hard to call when you've got sort of a medium to good hand because like you're afraid they're going to have the great hand, right? And so you check it and you're inducing a bluff and then they do bet and you're like, exposing yourself to some risk there. Sometimes it's more comfortable to like bet a little bit. It's like a blocker bet, and then they'll either call it or whatever, they'll fold. But I think it's really good to try to milk people, get more money when you don't deserve it, and do some bluffs on the river. And it protects your bad hands as well. Like when you're checking on the river, when you have a bad hand on the river, you often check. Well, you should protect that range by having good hands on the river and checking too. So anyway, I know that wasn't very deep. I'm just trying to kind of share and repeat and regurgitate some of the learnings that I'm getting, like when I study. Um, so hopefully some of this makes sense. If this really progresses and I get closer to the 10,000 and I really study more, here I've got the aces. He's got the top pair. I will be more systematic with how I share the knowledge. Because if I can go from 100 to 10,000, that's proof positive that this process works of the way that I'm studying. Right now, I'm just kind of doing this for shits and giggles. And I just called all in on the river. Yep, with the aces. Obviously, he could have two pair, but I liked it. That was a good take at that point in the tournament. That was necessary. I think I got that Rona. All right, let's see here. What do I have? Let me move my stats thing out of the way. Okay, ace queen. Oh, he was all in and then I called. Yep. Makes sense. Now I've got, there's no decision making there. Yep, kind of a no-brainer with the ace queen. Okay. Queen king suited, min raise. He does a third pot bet. Oh, I've basically got the nuts here. So I just flat call. The 4 is great. He does another third pot bet. I just flat call. I'm probably like in the tank here just to make him think that I don't have a hand. Then he checks. So this is one of the other things that I've learned. You look at his total chip size and you think, what can he afford to donk off? What kind of size bet is he going to be tempted to call? And I thought that was about 7. So bringing him down from 19 to 12, he could call that if he has the ace. So I made it 7. He must have not had the ace. I bet you he was bluffing. Those third pot bets are pretty weak. And he wasn't increasing the size either, right? Third pot, third pot. Okay, with the aces I re-raise. He calls. I'm doing a third pot bet as always. So it's the same pattern. Kings, re-raise to 5. Third pot bet, as per usual. So it's about that consistency. I think that's what saved my stats against the robots. So what's he got? 6-9. So he's in bluff mode right now. Third pot bet. He calls. Am I going to go for another barrel? Oh, no, I give up. And then he's got the 6-9. Oh, this is an interesting hand because of ranges. So I could have played this differently. Let me give you an example. All right. So I'm in raise here. So what is my range? Okay, this is something that I think is very important for poker theory. What is my range here? Well, my range includes all the best hands and like mediocre hands, but not bad hands, there's no 6-9 in my range when I'm in raising from here. Okay, so let's remember that when we see the flop. Okay, 2, 4, 5. These are really shitty cards. This is not hitting my range. And I think this is why, so he checks. This is why I checked back, because it's not hitting my range. And so I'm playing as per that range. I'm not playing with my specific cards, I'm playing my range. And then the ace comes. Now all of a sudden it's hitting my range. They both check, and I bet. That makes sense because now I can rep the ace easily. Like, everything I've done so far makes sense that I could have the ace. So it doesn't matter that I don't have the ace. What matters is that my range has the ace. He calls. Then the king comes. Okay, this is where I should have done something differently. I should bet big here. I think I should bet like 8 or 10 big blinds here. Now, obviously seeing his hand seems to make it more credible that I should do that, but it doesn't, right? This is about long-term odds. But the point is, I should be repping the ace king here, or some good ace, or some good king, or whatever. It's not really that likely that he's got those cards because he's in the big blind just calling. So, so when he's just calling from the big blind, his range is like bad cards, right? So, that's why, he might have one of these cards, but one of the 2, 4, or 5, but he doesn't have the ace and the king. Now I still got the pot, but I could have bet big there, I think is my point. Playing in terms of ranges. All right, I hit the top pair here. He bets, I call. I don't have a great hand. So like for me to re-raise here, I think is a mistake because he's only going to call with better than me. Well, I don't want that. I want to call him and let him keep bluffing with a 9 or an 8, So sure enough, he does a half pot here. I've got the top pair, so I'm willing to go another round with him. Now the 10 comes. It doesn't really help or hurt, I don't think, because he was betting the flop without the 10, right? Then he bets big. Oh, I forget what I did here. Then he bets big here. I've got the king. I might be tempted to call here. Yeah, I folded. I mean, oh, that's tempting. It's a big bet. It's a big bet. If he was bluffing, all power to him. I didn't want to risk that many chips at that point with the top pair. One of the biggest leaks in my game is not being willing to let go of hands. And so that's one of the things I'm trying to improve upon is just being willing to lay it down. Okay, this is a very instructive hand. So I've got the top 2 pair here. And then obviously there's a lot of straights, right? So I bet big because I don't want the straights to come. I'd rather take the pot down right now. I get 2 callers. The 6 is a good card. Right here is where I have to jam. I really don't mind putting in 33 big blinds to win 15 big blinds when I've got the top 2 pair here. Because if another one of the straight cards come, all you need is one card to and like people love to stay along when they've got the open-ended straight draws. It's just so easy to have open-ended straight draws here, and it just so happens that both of these guys have that. I bet big here, and probably for that same reason, right? I'm trying to get them off the pot. Even with their draws, I'm trying to get them off the pot. I think I should have jammed. Both of them called. I actually think this was a bad decision on this guy's part to call this big bet with only the open-ended. He doesn't even have a pair. But be that as it may, he ended up hitting incredibly. So this is so brutal. I just check, right? Because like nobody's gonna call with any worse. And 9-10 Jack Queen, any 8 or any king has me beat. So there's just no reason to bet here. Nobody with worse cards than me is going to call. And sure enough, he puts it all in. So this was like, probably one of the hardest laydowns because I've got two pair. But again, you cannot fall in love with your good hands. You got to realize, why would he? I was the one betting before. I'm showing all this aggression. I bet big on the turn. He called. Then he's jamming the river for another 20 big blinds. Like, you might think, oh, pot odds. All I have to do is call 20 more to win 40. Well, he's putting it in when I was the aggressor. He's definitely got a hand. Um, there's just way too many cards that can make. Actually, he hit it both ways, right? he hit a 6 card straight. I mean, this was a hard laydown, but I folded, and it saved my tournament life. So um, those were some of the leaks. Before that, I'm starting to close out. Re-raise with the kings. I don't think this will be such an interesting hand. Yeah, he goes all in and everything. I've got kings, so not too interesting. 9 queen. I'm in raise. Third pot bet. I gotta fold here. All right, let's see here. Okay, I've got the ace-5. Now there's only 3 players left. So I re-raised because, there's only 3 players now. When you're on the button, you're often just trying to steal. And I've got a good big blocker card, the ace. So, but he liked it. So, let me just plug in my battery 1 sec. Okay. Then I do my third pot bet. He calls. This sucks because, I'm not hitting. But then all of a sudden I picked up a queen for a straight draw for the nuts. And so I did that half pot bet like I usually do. So that was a good pickup. Oh, there's 4 players left, not 3. Queen king hit the top pair. Third pot as usual. He calls. Oh, did I check the turn here? Oh yeah, because the ace came. Yeah, I'm not trying to bet into an ace, Then he does a third pot on the river. Definitely a call just because, if he's got the ace, fine, I'll pay him. But people like to, bluff rivers like that. 7-8. What did I do pre-flop? I called him. Yeah, because there's only 3 players, so I want to see some flops. I do a third pot bet just to kind of bluff and be a bully. I do my regular half pot follow up. He calls, so this isn't working out. I'm just gonna give up now. Sometimes I will triple barrel bluff, especially when I've got like blockers to good hands, but like I'm not blocking any straights, I'm not blocking any flushes, like it's just not the right time to bluff. So alright, next hand. Let's see. Okay, so I re-raise here, and okay, so I'm 3-betting to 5. And yeah, so I mean obviously he's got like a big range being on the button like this. And yeah, I do my typical third pot bet. Let's see here. It's still, that's not a great card to come on the turn. Yeah, so I'm just going to slow down on this one. And 1 sec. I'm recording a YouTube video.
Jeff and Amelia want soup, and you froze it. I just wondered where you put it. I'll be giving it
in the freezer.
Which freezer?
The one in the kitchen.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Let's see here. Okay, so I got ace 10, min raise. He checks. I just checked this time. I've got the mid pair. Not sure exactly why I checked that. Normally I'd do like a, you know. Oh, was he the one raising or was I? Oh yeah, he was the one raising. Nope, I was. So normally I'd do a c-bet there. Not sure why I didn't. Probably some texture there is why. He does a big bet there. I'm willing to call it though, just because I've got a strong middle pair. And then he goes another strong bet on the river, but at this late stage in the game, you can't be pushed around. So, yep, he was just bluffing. So, you gotta be willing to call people out sometimes. All right, 3-bet with the ace king, hit the ace, beautiful. Third pot bet as usual, got a call. Nut flush draw on the turn. Now here I'm basically calculating based on the size of his stack. So what you want to do is like have it be like a river jam where he's not committed yet, but like ideally the size of his pot is the same as what he has to call. You know, and so anyway, ideally he's got the same pot size, same stack size as what the pot has. So I bet small here just to kind of get a little more in the pot before the river, and I'm definitely planning to jam river almost no matter what falls. And maybe a queen would be a terrible card and not a heart, but almost definitely going to jam river. And so there's going to be 14 more added to the pot, so that makes 39. And then he's going to have 7 less, so that's 28. So, and then I jam the river, he folds, but you know, you might think, oh, you're exposing yourself a lot by putting all your chips in on the river. Well, this late in the tournament, yeah, there's risk, but like the thing is, you can print money off of any weaker aces. You know, yeah, he could have ace 9, he could have ace 7, he could have ace queen, he could have a 9 rather. But yeah, I just think it's worth it at this stage. Sometimes people are starting to get desperate at near the end there and might even call out with a queen. So, all right, I've got 8s here. This guy started to seem very like jammy, like always all in. So I decided to call him. I don't normally call 25 big blinds pre-flop with just 8s. But near the end of the tournament like this, and this guy was jamming a few times. Let's look at his stats actually. So I outplay. Oh. He's super tight. He's a super tight player. VPIP 14. PFR 10. Voluntary puts it in the pot. That's either calling or raising preflop. 10 is if you're raising preflop 10% of the time. So these stats, an aggressive player would be more than 20 for this 14, and you know, more than probably 15 for this 10. And a normal, like professional, let's say 3-bet percentage is 10%. And I've got enough stats on him. I've got 268 hands, so I've got enough sample size to know how he is. Problem is, though, at the end of tournaments, people sometimes start to get tired. I think this is a bad move, going all in pre-flop with 25 bigs with the ace-jack on his part. And again, speaking to the power of pairs. Well, anyway, I hit the 8, so gotta love that. Knocked him out. Got a huge bounty off of him. So, all right. I had the queen 6. I'm just bluffing here. I actually hit the queen, so I do a half pot bet. Then he jams and I fold. So yeah, I'll give him credit for the ace here. That's fine. I've got king 9. Raise pre-flop, hit the king. And another third pot bet. I do another third pot bet because I'm just trying to milk him. I'm looking at his stack, right? And I'm hoping that he can just call a couple more. But then he jams on me. And I'm thinking this is a no-brainer. I mean, he's got 10 more big blinds left for the whole tournament. He's trying to trying to bluff at a JC pot, definitely call with the king. So, and that's all she wrote. That's the whole tournament. So anyway, I'll keep posting videos when I win, and I'll keep sharing learnings with you guys. And please like or subscribe or comment if you have any ideas about any of these, like, kind of sort of strategy ideas that may be wrong. Like, I could definitely be wrong about a lot of this stuff because I'm just learning, like, kind of in bits and pieces, and I'm trying to put it all together. So it's definitely a journey. But I'd love to hear people's comments, what you like, what you didn't like about my play, and I'll see you next time.